Why don't we come with instructions? That's a question I ask myself so many times. And I thought maybe the purpose of my life is to find some sort of instructions to share with other humans so that future generations can be happier, make fewer mistakes, have less, experience less regret. And I felt kind of consumed by it, not in a negative way, but it kind of felt like everything I was doing was helping me to formulate some sort of instruction manual on how to be human. And today, in a session with a client, one of my favorite clients ever, person who is very emotionally connected and attuned and sensitive and very gifted in being human, right? I had that sudden realization, like an answer that came to me that I really want to share. Why we don't need instructions. I think that you only need instructions when you're very head-based. And that's how we were raised, right? It's like intellect above everything. And I think that's flawed. Knowledge is power, knowledge is great, but it isn't everything. And I think we have forgotten that intuition is so much more superior. But we're disconnected from our intuition because we don't know yet how to raise children in a way that helps them to stay healthy. We've come from schools of thinking that tell us we have to make children good, raise them into good adults. I don't think that's true. I think that humans are born healthy and then we distort it, then we damage them, then we do things because we don't realize they're already perfect as they are and let them grow naturally. We think we have to do something to them, like plants, cultivate them, raise them in a certain way, prune them. And it's like, what happens, like if you look at nature, kind of perfect until we interfere with it. That's one thing. I have definitely realized that the more we interfere, the more we think we improve things, the worse we make things. So we don't need instructions that come from our head that are knowledge-based. We don't need that. We only need it if we're disconnected from ourselves, which is true for most of us, until we do the inner healing work, right? Until we kind of reconnect to ourselves, to our essence, to our feelings, until we learn to value our feelings, our emotional experiences, our emotional capacity. But we live in a culture where that is devalued, invalidated, right? It's negatively judged. The work I do is about learning to combine all of your wisdom. Your intellect is one part of many parts that make you powerful, that make you healthy, that make you unique and special and capable of so much. But the reason why, so this is how it came about, me realizing that we don't need instructions. And it was talking about, I guess, parenting or becoming a parent. And what I have learned, and this is something that I've always felt quite proud of, that I became a parent. And I was always a massive people pleaser and avoiding conflict and the good girl before. And I couldn't keep going with that because I had a child that needed something that didn't fall within normal guidelines. And I knew I had to protect her, even though it meant annoying a lot of other people by going against their guidelines, their instructions, their advice. And it made me stronger. It was also really, really difficult, but I had a very good reason for it. And what I realized was that I had instructions. Raise your human this way. Do this with them. And my intuition was, no, this is wrong. This does not apply here. And other people would be like, why won't you listen? Why are you being difficult? Why are you being stubborn? I was like, I can't explain it. It feels really wrong. It felt wrong for me to leave her to cry. It felt wrong for me to only feed her when the schedule said feed her. And I kind of stumbled into attachment parenting, you know, as we call it today. And this is a long time ago where there wasn't a lot about it, like available anywhere, where you were a pariah for baby wearing and breastfeeding and doing baby-led activities. And I did it anyway. Little people pleasing me, it's like terrified. But I did it anyway because my intuition was so strong. So I didn't need instructions then because I was like following my intuition. And I was like, I'm just going to have to wait and see. I don't have the evidence. I can't explain it to anyone. It was all based on emotion, on intuition, on a deeper guidance. And none of that made sense to the head. But today I realized that's why we don't need instructions, because every human is different. And while some instructions might apply to the majority of humans, doesn't mean it's right for every human. And if you're connected to your intuition, if you value your emotions, why would you need someone else's guidelines? You don't, because you have superior ones inside of you that get updated with every experience you have. It's innate wisdom that when you connect to it, when you reconnect to it, you're not reliant and dependent on others to tell you what to do. If you feel called to rely on others, to ask others for advice, the only evidence you have is that you are not connected to yourself in the way that you once were, that people trained you out of it. They told you were wrong to feel for feeling how you were feeling, for wanting what you wanted, for needing what you needed. And you learn to invalidate yourself because they didn't have the capacity to meet you at that level, right? They didn't have the capacity, and you made their limitations mean something negative about you. That's what we have. That's what healing is all about. Growing out of that illusion that there was anything wrong with you, that there is anything wrong with you for feeling how you feel and needing what you need and wanting what you want. It's reclaiming all of that, making it whole, reintegrating it, taking it back, and then making decisions and life choices from that place of inner connection, connection to yourself, being in your power. That's what will create the best life for yourself. No matter how many books you read, how much information you absorb, how much advice you listen to, it will always be that inner transformation that will change your life, that will make you feel healed, and that will allow you to realize that you aren't broken. You just don't understand yourself yet. And you go, and based on other people who don't understand you, who don't understand themselves, and then you're like, oh yeah, there must be something wrong with me, but there isn't. And you will only crave the instructions if you're living from your head, if you haven't reclaimed your innate wisdom, your inner power, right? If that sounds like, oh wait, it's crazy, it's out there, it's weird, it's woo-woo. It isn't. It's natural, it's instinctive, it's how we were born, it's who we are as humans. And that's why there are no instructions, because we don't need them. We just need to reclaim that inner connection to ourselves. And I really wanted to share that with you in case you've ever wondered, in case you've been searching, in case you have got this very strong external focus that drives you to make your life better, because you think the answers are going to be outside somewhere. And a lot of them are, because we are very similar in many ways, but real transformation comes from the inside. So the more you allow yourself to be with yourself, to connect to yourself, to focus on yourself, to get to know yourself, to achieve a different level of understanding, a different level of awareness and consciousness, the more you will thrive in your life, the faster you can turn things around. So I hope that mindset, that insight I had today, just now, helps you in some way, makes you think, makes you value different aspects of yourself. So lots of love from me to you.